Good morning. Got a question for you guys. How many people are good in math class? Lots of you are good in math class. Even if you're not good in math class, they're going to make you take math, right? They're going to keep, because numbers are important, and learning how to use the numbers are really important, because numbers can tell us a lot of things, right? We use numbers for lots of things. So I was thinking about that. If you guys went to a birthday party for your friend, and you saw this number on their cake, how old do you think your friend would be? 7. Because that would remind you how old your friend is, and that's one of the things we use numbers for. That reminds us of how somebody's age. What would happen if you saw a sign like this and it said 14 and it was a heart shape? What would that remind you of? Valentine's Day, because today is Valentine's Day, and sometimes just the number February 14th, just that number would remind us that it's Valentine's Day. Now what if you saw a weight and you wanted to know how heavy the weight is? Is this really heavy or is it really light? How would you know?
Really heavy.
You think it would be really heavy? So how would you know? What does it say? 3. Okay, so that tells you how heavy it actually is.
Can I hold it?
Not right now. And so I thought about all those numbers because then there's this other number. And we use this, and we're going to talk about this number during Lent. What number is this? 40. Why would we use the number 40? What thing in the Bible would 40 remind us of? And there are several good answers to this question.
Chapter 40?
Could be chapter 40, that's one. What else could 40 remind us?
40 years old.
40 years. So the people of Israel wandered for 40 years in the desert. That's one thing. But we use it in Lent because Jesus, in today's gospel reading, spent 40 days in the wilderness. Why do you think he went 40 days in the wilderness? You know why?
Be alone with God.
To be alone with God. That's why people went out in the wilderness. That's very good. And he went out there because he wanted to pay special attention to God. Is paying attention to God something we should do all the time? It is. But during the 40 days of Lent, it's a time when we follow Jesus in paying special attention to God. So often, what we do during Lent is we use that as a time to pay attention to God's call to be in prayer. And sometimes we hear God's call to care for and help other people. But it's kind of 40 days of paying special attention to God. So we're going to use this number. You're going to see this number during Lent. And when you see it, just like the number 7 reminds you of how old your friend is, the number 40 reminds us of special days that we're going to pay attention to what God's doing in our lives. Okay? All right, so let's hold hands. We'll say a prayer. Can you hold hands? All right, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving us all the time, all the time. Help us to pay attention. Help us to pay attention to the way you show your love, to the way you show your love, and to share your love, and to share your love with others we meet, with others we meet.